Daniela here, and I am still a little bit behind in Hwayugi, a Korean Odyssey, but I'm quickly catching up. So without further ado, let's get into it because this video is going to be way too long as it is. Episode 7 starts. Episode 7, pretty good episode. Mawon and his assistant are trying to set up Sunmi with this new guy Jonathan. We also see Buja and PK grow closer together as they try to figure out who she is. And it's really nice to see PK actually care about somebody else because he's been kind of self-centered and only really cares about himself up until now. So having him worry over somebody else is really nice. And there's a lot of humor, especially when it comes to Alice, the bratty idol that works at Lucifer Entertainment. We've met her before. She's been in a few episodes. But this time she gets possessed by a prince of the East Sea who's second son of a dragon, whatever. Anyway, there's a male prince inhabiting the female body of this bratty idol, and so there's a lot of body humor as he's touching his boobs and adjusting his body to trying to live in the body of a girl. So it's a good episode. There's a lot of really great humor, really great moments. But, and this is a huge but, this episode made me angry. And it's not the only episode among the 4 episodes I'm reviewing today that made me angry. Why did it make me angry, you might ask, considering I just said that overall it was pretty good? Well, that's because in my last review, I said this. I hope that now that Ogong has said I love you while she's wearing while the bracelet is frozen, that'll help the situation, that they're not going to continue this back and forth fighting, not fighting, whatever. And then this episode starts, and literally as soon as the episode starts, all that goes away. Sunmi is talking to Summer Fairy, and Summer Fairy literally tells Sunmi that her powers balance her brother's powers. So whatever Frosty Dude did to freeze the bracelet, she undid. So when Ogong said I love you, for real this time, it was a false confession because he was still under the power of the bracelet. And it's not true. And it made me angry because the relationship seemed to have advanced and it just retracted all the way back to what it was before. What is the point of telling us, the audience, that Ogong really does love her when Sunmi herself doesn't know? It's no use to us, right? Because that kind of information would be a lot more valuable further down the line when there's an actual oomph, there's actual power to knowing that. It's poor storytelling. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan. I was a fan of the confession. I was not a fan of then it being totally retracted and no longer important. Don't waste my time, please, drama. My time is valuable. Thank you very much. However, one thing that did come out of this is that as Mawon was trying to set up Sunmi with Jonathan, Ogong's jealousy grew and grew and grew at the idea of Sunmi finding a connection with another man, and he then very possessively kissed her in front of everybody. Now, was this healthy? No. But I will say this. This drama, literally the romance, is between a being that is thousands of years old that will never die, who has become the love slave of a mortal woman. I don't think this show cares about healthy versus unhealthy relationships. So I'm letting that kiss slide. Whatever. This kiss actually leads us right into episode 7. Guess what, guys? They're fighting again. Who's not a fan? I'm not a fan. I don't like melodramas. I don't like couples that fight all the time. So this whole aspect of this drama is one I don't particularly appreciate, being honest. Why are they fighting, you might ask? Well, Mawon is once again meddling. This time he's worried that Sunmi is growing too attached to Ogong and growing to trust him too much to the point that maybe she'll remove the bracelet. And in order to put a stop on that, he tells Sunmi about Ogong's seasonings, his sauces. You remember way back when Ogong was still trying to eat Sunmi that he actually made these sauces to season her with? The boy has not thrown those away. Those were still in the fridge, and Mawon was very happy to show them to Sunmi. Sunmi was of course very upset. He's not gonna harm her, but they still spent the whole episode fighting over him. Both of them are too proud and they don't want to say what they really mean, and literally every single time they meet, they end up arguing. This lasts all the way until the end of the episode after they've defeated the demon of the episode. And finally, they both have a moment of honesty. I guess I will give one concession. Part of the reason why they were fighting, I'm guessing, is also so that we can learn a little bit more about Samjang itself and what that means for Sunmi. So we actually learned that Sunmi doesn't have much to worry about in the future because as she finishes her duties to heaven, she will stop being Samjang. That is it. And it is her being Samjang that makes her blood special. So if she completes her heavenly duty, which we know is to close the gates of hell, she'll stop being Samjang. Her blood will no longer be valuable. Ogong will no longer have a reason to want to eat her, so she's gonna be safe no matter what Ogong's true feelings are. Problem? It's becoming increasingly clear that that future may not happen. The show has not been subtle about telling us that these two are fated to have a very tragic ending. Not only did the demon of the episode warn Ogong that Sunmi would be the one to kill him, but also Sunmi picked up this like little bell that she thinks tells her when she needs her fated love, and of course it's ringing for Ogong. But in reality, it actually tells her of a different, much sadder fate, which is when the killer and the person killed meet. And again, it's ringing for Ogong, which means that one of them is going to kill the other one. Apart from all the drama between Ogong and Sunmi, the only other real news is that we finally learn what happened to Pooja. She was the victim of a hit and run, which seems oddly ordinary for the show. So I don't know if they're gonna actually add anything to that later on, but the story that we're going with right now is that that dude that we've seen a few times now, he's the professor that's running for president, didn't see her crossing the street, ran her over, she died on the spot, and he called his goonies to fix the problem for him. We know they failed because she was reanimated as a zombie, and since then they've been like trying to figure out why she's alive when she was clearly dead. That's really all I want to say about those two episodes, because really the kind of crowning jewel of my anger are episodes 9 and 10. The demon of the week this time is a woman that traps the souls of children that are suffering in these fairy tale books. Her idea is that she's actually saving them from really horrible lives, but in reality, in order to trap them, they die in real life. And their souls are trapped so they can't be reborn, and so she's evil. The demon offers Sunmi a deal. She will take her sad childhood, she'll take her powers, she'll take her contract with Ogong, she'll take anything related to what made her so unhappy as a child and so ostracized by her peers, and she'll keep that locked up in one of her fairy tale books so that Sunmi as an adult can live an ordinary life and just be a normal person. And Sunmi agrees. And everything related to her being the Samjang, it went horribly wrong. Pooja started decomposing. On top of that, who is going to be the master of the bracelet now, right? Like the whole thing was that Ogong needed to be trapped by this bracelet, and the one that could do it was Sunmi because she was Samjang. And now she's no longer Samjang. So does the bracelet power now go to the demon? Is the demon now the Samjang? Is the demon now the person that's supposed to be there to like protect heaven and earth and save us from hell? A demon that traps children? Really? Plus, if she is the owner of the bracelet, does Ogong love her now? Remember when I said before that it would have been so much better for us not to know how Ogong really felt? This would be the time when it would be amazing to be told, as opposed to 4 episodes ago. But back to the demon, back to Sunmi, back to Samjang. That's basically the setup. Everything works out fine, you know. Turns out that Ogong does love Sunmi, so even though in theory the ownership of the bracelet went to the demon, his love for Sunmi didn't. And so he wasn't under the demon's control. And Sunmi realizes the importance of her being Samjang, so she reconnects with her childhood and she becomes Samjang once again. And Ogong and Sunmi once again have a moment of honesty with each other because they did spend the majority of episode 10 fighting and being too proud and saying exactly the opposite of what they meant. So when she becomes Samjang again, they reconnect and they have a moment of honesty and they actually like sort of tell each other about their feelings and then have a nice makeout session to like put a bow on it. Which honestly doesn't sound that bad. So you might ask, Danny, why are you so angry again? Well, I was angry because honestly, I think the writing was kind of lazy. They tried to add even more unnecessary conflict to the relationship between Oh-gong and Sunmi by having Sunmi become angry at Oh-gong again. I'm pretty sure that the reason why they were doing this is because they wanted to set up why Sunmi would agree to this demon's deal. But it wasn't necessary. And here's why. The show sets it up first in episode 9 and it's doing a pretty good job. Sunmi wants to be ordinary. She craves being ordinary. She's jealous of people that just have ordinary family lives. It was well done. There was already a setup for why Sunmi would choose to give up that part of herself. She didn't want to be special. She didn't want to be unique in any way. She wants to be ordinary because she's had such a horrible life. But that wasn't enough for the show. They wanted to like up that melodrama, and Ma-won once again meddles and tells Sunmi that she became the Sanjang because she released Oh-gong from his prison when she was a child. And why does that matter? Honestly, like I get for her to be annoyed or angry, but she overreacted so much in the show. She hated Oh-gong. She like was so unhappy that his trickery like forced her to become Sanjang and her whole life was ruined when he had nothing to do with ruining her life. Let's get this straight. In episode 1, the show was very clear in showing us, oh my god, I'm so angry. In episode 1, the show was very clear in showing us that she already had powers by the time she met Ma-won and Oh-gong. That is why Ma-won chooses her to go into Oh-gong's prison. She was already a child that could see ghosts, and because of it, her peers already ostracized her. She was bullied, she was rejected by everybody. She had no friends. The only person on her side was her grandma, and that's it. So it's not Oh-gong's fault that she was rejected by her peers. That was already happening. Actually, her becoming Samjang, I would say, improved her life. Because as an adult, for the first time ever, she has friends. She has people she can trust. She has people that she can go to with her problems, like Summer Fairy. She even has like a younger sibling in this like zombie creation that came alive because of her blood. She has somebody defending her, and her life is never truly in danger. So what is so horrible about her being Samjang? They haven't even talked about the end of the world, so it can't be that. So what is it that made Sunmi react this way? The show did not prepare us for this at all. And that's why I think it's bad writing. That's why I'm angry. Not angry at the actual characters or at the story. I'm angry that the show is making us care about something that doesn't matter. It makes me feel like the show thinks I'm stupid, that I wouldn't remember what happened in episode 1 when we're only at episode 10. Do I think it's bad writing? Yes. Do I think it could have been done better? Yes. Do I blame the writer? No. We know that the show has been doing its best to stay afloat since it started. The show started with a scandal, and right away production had to be stopped. And we know that they've had production problems from the very beginning. So probably the writers are being forced to just like cut things out or like, you know, not fully flesh out ideas or kind of like make switches last minute to give us a full cohesive product week after week. And that's really hard. You know, Korea's live shoot system is really hard. And I understand that, you know, what they want to happen, what they think should happen, and what they can actually give us is very different. So putting it into context, I do think that they're doing a good job, because I can believe that a lot of the issues that I have were things that, you know, they originally wanted things to be differently, but they just couldn't do that because they didn't have the resources or the time for it. It is what it is. If you don't really care and you think that I'm like being way too dramatic, nitpicky, and just like, I need to get a life, you are free to tell me that. Or if you have other things about the show that are kind of causing you concern or you don't really like, let me know below. I would love to talk about it.